This is a YouTube video review of the SuperFire WF-501B flashlight. So this is the light here that I'm reviewing. You can get this light online and on eBay for around $9 or $10. I bought this at dealextreme.com for $9.71 shipped. So let's take the light apart and show you the insides and how it all works. So I'm going to take apart the tail cap. Tail cap comes apart nice and smoothly and easily. Now that I've lubricated the threads and the O-ring with some silicone grease, straight out of the box it comes completely dry, and the first thing you're going to want to do is lubricate the threads and the O-rings with some silicone grease. So these are my unprotected RCR 123 cells that I'm using there, and they simply drop into the battery tube. Common stuff, pretty straightforward. The tube itself is pretty thin-walled, nowhere near as heavy as my SuperFire 6P, but it's kind of nice because it's got a nice light feel to it, so keep that in mind. The threads are cut pretty crudely compared to my 6P, but they definitely feel very durable and very robust. So it's not a heavy grinding kind of feel when you tighten them. The O-ring makes a nice tight solid seal with the switch cap, which uses a single spring in the middle. Pretty common stuff. Reverse clicky, and I do believe this switch cap is waterproof. On a lot of my flashlights I'll do the simple mouth blow test to test for water resistance, or at least to test for air pressure resistance, and really just take this, put it in your mouth like that, and blow. If you can blow air through this, then that means water will pass through. Pretty straightforward, standard stuff. So this switch cap is, I think, waterproof, or water resistant to some degree. So I'm going to take the head apart, the bezel apart, and here we go. The O-rings on this light are really tight, snug fit, which is a nice thing to have, in my opinion. Oops, there we go. So here's the bezel. Pretty thin-walled bezel, very light, nowhere near as durable as my SuperFire 6P or any of the Phoenix lights that we love so much. Glass lens, standard stuff. I believe there's some sort of a screw-in retainer ring to hold the glass lens in place. Doing the mouth blow test on this bezel, air will pass air through. So I don't believe that this bezel is watertight. Although I would probably say it's probably splash resistant, and you can definitely use it in like a heavy rain or something like that. You just can't submerge the thing like you could like a SuperFire or a Nui or a better Phoenix type of light. So here's the module, and right away you can see it's a 9-volt incandescent module. So what that means is you are free to use rechargeable batteries, because these batteries will peak out at 4.2 volts apiece, and they will hit the Xenon light bulb with almost 8.5 volts. So unlike the SuperFire P60 incandescent module, this module here will allow the use of rechargeable CR123s. And there's the inside of the body tube. Pretty straightforward. You need to use the large spring on all your drop-in modules. You know, some of the LED modules are, I guess it's optional. You can take the spring off, but in this light you need to use that big diameter spring, of course with the incandescent module or with an upgraded LED module. You want to keep that spring there to maintain battery tube contact. And let's see, I'm going to put this back on here. And furthermore, there we go. Furthermore, if I can get it off. Again, the O-rings are really tight. There we go. Furthermore, the head of the light comes apart a step further. So you've got bezel, head, body tube, and switch cap. Okay, so I've got the light back together. I'm going to drop the batteries back in and screw the tail cap back on. Alright, and we're all set. So let's take a look at the beam shots against the white wall. Here's the SuperFire against a white wall. That white wall is about 5 feet away. Okay, pretty nice, decently round hotspot. It's got some artifacts and some imperfections in it, being that it's incandescent, but it's not altogether that bad, given that it's a $9 flashlight. Okay, and here's the beam from my modified SuperFire 6P. It has a Deal Extreme 11.836 drop-in module with a Cree R2 emitter, and I think it's about 200 lumens. So this kind of gives you an idea of the hotspot intensity differences between these two. Okay, and I think later tonight I'll do some beam shots outdoors with some trees and things like that as well. What you're looking at here is a reference shot. It's very dark outside right now, and here is the light from about a 200 lumen Cree R2 SuperFire 6P. And here's the light from the SuperFire incandescent. And right away you can see the color tint difference. So I'm just going to toggle back and forth from light to light. And one last time, there's the SuperFire incandescent. So here I am again. This is a control shot. And what you're looking at there is the light beam, the 200 lumen output from my SuperFire 6P that has been modified with a Cree R2 drop-in module. And it's really my brightest. This is my brightest light for reference, and I think it's about 200 lumens, maybe a little bit more than that. And I'm going to compare it with the SuperFire WF-501B. There we go. I just switched to a higher resolution setting on my camcorder. I don't know if you can see it or if it made a difference or not, but I hope it did, because I hope you can see some of the accuracy of color rendition that is apparent in the Xenon incandescent flashlight. And there you have it. Overall, this is a pretty impressive light. I was taking a night hike earlier, and I think this light is actually maybe even slightly more lumens than my Deal Extreme 6090 module, although it's hard to tell because it doesn't have as intense of a hotspot. So maybe it's just the floody nature of this light tricking me into thinking it has more lumens, or maybe it's the nature of incandescent color. Maybe I'm seeing more details in the objects that I'm illuminating, so maybe that tricks me into thinking it's brighter. But at any rate, it's not a bad light. I'm kind of impressed for $9. It's really not that bad at all. So there you have it. Thanks a lot, and I hope you find these reviews useful, and please feel free to comment. on my YouTube page any questions you may have regarding some of these lights. Thanks. Bye.